All right, this video is for 2.4 quiz and for 2.5 homework, okay? Both vocab words are on the Google form. I'm not going to give them to you, but they're multiple choice, so that makes it pretty easy. All right, here we go. A parking garage at a local mall charges $10 for parking up to 3 hours. So that means $10 for hours 1 through 3. They charge an additional $5 for each additional hour. So however many hours. And then it says if Alice spent 35, how long was she parked there? All right, so this is one of those that has the restricted domain. What is the smallest?
3.
Yep. Smallest number I can put in there is 3. If I put 1 or 2, it's not going to calculate it right. It's going to charge them more than they should be charged. So my equation would be 10 plus 5. And then since my x has got to be greater than or equal to 3, it would be x minus 3. Okay? So that's your equation that you're going to use on this problem. Now, if it wants to know how many hours she spent there, if she spent $35, would I plug that 35 in for f of x or x? F of x. So I'm actually going to do this one for you and give you a free answer. All right, so just a solving equations reminder. So menu 3-1, and then I type in my equation, and then comma x. Make sure that you tell it what letter to solve for. And it's got to be the letter that you used. So it's 8. And so when you get into the Google form, your answer is going to be 8. You don't have to put hours. You don't have to put anything else in there. Okay? All right. The Clear Fork of the Brazos River reaches flood stage at 32 feet. Okay? The river is currently at 28 feet and is rising at a rate of 5 inches per hour. And then they've got to evacuate when it gets to 37 feet. What do you notice about all those numbers? Does something stick out? Does something look weird?
They're not all
Well, so okay, well, when we're talking about measurements, everything needs to be in the same measurement. So if I have some feet and some inches, I can't do anything with feet and inches. I've got to convert something. So do we want to convert feet to inches or inches to feet? Feet to inches, how do we do that?
multiply by 12.
Okay, so feet to inches is easy. We just multiply the feet by 12. All right, so 32, let's see here. Ooh. 32 times 12, that would be 384 inches. 28 times 12 would be 336 inches. 37 times 12 would be 444 inches. All right. So let's write the equation first. Where's the river at right now?
32.
Nope. 28. Okay. So that was 336. So that's my starting place. And then I'm going to add, it's going up 5 inches per hour. So 5x. And so that's literally my equation. That's it. 5x plus 336. Now, it says residents will have to evacuate when the river reaches 37 feet. That was 444 inches. Would I plug that 444 in for f of x or x? F of x. So then I can menu 3-1 just like we did here. Okay, on a problem like this, can my answer be a decimal?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because I mean, could
Could
we say, because your answer is going to be like so many hours, right? Could you say like 3.2 hours? Yeah, you could say 3.25 hours. That would be 3 hours and 15 minutes. You can write minutes as a decimal. That is a realistic answer. So your answer for this problem will be a decimal. Okay? Yeah, if you need help with InSolve, let me know. I can. Huh? Okay, I'll write it up here. I'll write the buttons that you push. All right, the Dallas World Aquarium offers special rates for school groups. Each student is $750, so $750 per student. An adult is required for every 6 students. So if I have 60 students, how many adults do I need? So I need 10 adults. How did you calculate that? You divided it by 6. So the number of students divided by 6 gives me the number of adults that I need. So if each adult is $10, I can calculate them going $10 times the number of students I take over 6. And then plus a $15 booking fee. Now I'm going to rewrite this and I'm going to change things to X's. So $750 times each student plus 10 times however many number of students divided by 6 plus the 15. This is freaking gross. Now, I can rewrite this. I could write 10x over 6. That's still pretty gross. But when you have something written like this where the x is on top and it's just numbers, you can like pull that fraction out. And you can rewrite this as 10 over 6 times x. That way, so if I rewrite it that way, now what I have, these are like terms. And I can combine them into one x. What I do is I take the coefficients and I just add them together. So 750 plus 10 over 6, menu 2 makes a decimal into a fraction, which is what I want. I can combine those into one x value, which just makes solving equations easier. Okay, so that is going to be my equation. So I'm going to rewrite that here. F of x equals 55 over 6 times x plus 15. All right, if a school has a budget of $350, how many students can they take? Where would I plug that $350? Would it go in for f of x or x? Okay, now, if you get a decimal on this one, say x equals 24.4 kids, what would your answer be?
Wait, what was the answer?
Just say, I'm just giving you a random number here. Say x equals, and this is not correct, 24.4.
24.
It would be 24 because you can't have 0.4 students. And you don't have enough money to go up to 25. This is literally giving you the exact amount that you can bring. But there's no such thing as 0.4 student. That's like this much. So when you're talking about people, you usually just knock off the decimal. Okay? And you're going to do that one here. Whatever the decimal is, knock it off and just give me the whole number that's in front of it. No decimal on that one. All right, last one. Beth is saving money for college and currently has, okay, she's got $1,500 in savings. This is what she's got saved. $50 each week. And then she does $40 per year. Her goal is to have saved $12,000 by the time she graduates in 4 years. So let's make X our years. So this would stay 1,500. This would become 40X. if she saves 50 a week, how many weeks are in a year? 56. So I could do 56 times 50. That's 2,800. That means she saves $2,800 per year from her job. You want everything in the same form, because you can't really compare weeks and years. You need them to both be weeks or both be years, and it's easier, like you saw with the feet, it's easier to make feet into inches than it is to make inches into years, because your numbers start getting ugly. All right, so again, here we've got like terms, so I can combine these into 2840x, and literally I'm just adding these coefficients together, which that still doesn't look right. You sure it's 56 weeks? I think it's 52 weeks. Yeah, it's 52 weeks in a year. Okay, so your equation here, f of x equals 2640x plus the 1500. All right, it wants to know, and on the Google quiz, this is a yes or no answer. It wants to know after 4 years. So in this equation, where would you plug the 4 in? So you're going to plug it in here. If your answer is greater than 12,000, your answer is yes. If your answer is less than 12,000, your answer is no. But this, you literally just type in the calculator. Plug a 4 in here and type it in the calculator. A concept that we're doing today, anytime that you swap out a number for a letter, you put it in parentheses to keep the math consistent. So that is literally what you would type in your calculator. Hit enter. Greater than 12,000, yes. Less than 12,000, no. All right, so this part of the video is for lesson 2.5 homework. Number 1 says f of x equals 1/2 times 8x minus 6 plus 2x plus 10 plus 2x. So how I teach the algebra kids, and even my 8th graders, I taught this lesson too, was to rewrite the entire expression like in pencil and write it big, kind of space it out. And then what we're going to do, when it says f of 6, that means every time I see an x, I'm going to flop it out for a 6. But anytime that you switch out a letter for a number, you have to put it in parentheses. So I told them, go back, put a special set of parentheses around every x. Even if there's already a parenthesis there, that x gets its own special little pair. And then go back and switch out the x's with your value. And then all you have to do is type these into the calculator just like that. Did you really? I know it seems weird to type all those parentheses and it looks weird to your eyeball, but it's one of those, like, trust me things. It just makes sure that the math stays correct. You hit enter, and that's literally it. That is your answer. So number 1 is a 49. Okay. All right, number 3. So same thing. I'm going to rewrite the whole problem. And some of you may not need to do that, but if you do, if you're struggling to get all the parentheses in the right spot, it does not bother me. So each x gets its own special set. Here it says f of 9. So that means instead of x, I'm going to put 9s. And then I just write over it to make sure I can see everything, and that y'all can see exactly how I wrote it out. Hit enter, and again, that's literally it. You're just typing it into the calculator once you rewrite it. So mathematically, All that I'm asking you to do today is to rewrite functions. And then the calculator does the rest of the work for you. All right, number 5. So with negative signs, everything stays outside of those parentheses, those special parentheses that the x gets. Exponents, negatives, everything stays outside of those parentheses. So here, it's negative 7 over 3. All right, so negative 5. So to do a fraction, control division, negative 7 over 3 squared plus 12. Negative. Yes. But on this one, is that a 2 or it's a 21? Leave it in that form. Just leave it as negative 308 over 9. When I first wrote out this worksheet, I was teaching with the TI-84, and you could actually take an improper fraction and the calculator would convert it to a mixed number. These, it's a nightmare to try to get it to do that, so we just leave them as improper fractions, and that will be perfectly fine for this year. All right. Now, number 7, you've got 2 functions, and here's where the function names are important. I've got f of x and I've got g of x. And then it says f of 3 plus g of 2. That means the x's in the f function are going to become a 3. The x's in the g function are going to become a 2. You have to match the function up with the right name. So f of x is x squared minus 6x plus 11. Each x gets its own special set. And then here, f of x is 3. And then to do g of x is negative x plus 1 squared plus 3. So that x gets its own special set, but that was g of x. So we switch the x's out for a 2. And then we solve each one of these separately. So we do 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 11. That gives me a 2. And then negative 2 plus 1 squared plus 3 is a negative 6. And then the final step is f of 3 plus g of 2. So I would do 2 plus the negative 6. Negative 4. That's it. That's your answer. It's not too bad. It's just got a couple of extra steps. For which one? Oh, for 6? Nope, that's... Uh-huh. That's right. All right, so number 9. X squared plus 4x plus 1. F of x is a negative 4. And then g of x is x squared minus 2. X is a 5. So negative 4 squared plus 4 times a negative 4 plus 1. That one's a 1. And then 5 squared minus 2 is a 23. So f of 4 was a 1 minus 23. 1 minus 23, negative 22.